Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the all-new Ford Ranger Raptor. We're going to get into everything we know with the official release of the Ranger Raptor. There'll be a little bit of speculation towards the end, and then I'll give you guys my opinion on the truck. Before we get into the video, I do want to mention that I just released my car buying course, link in the description down below. If you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car and you want some one-on-one advice from me, that is available to course members. Again, link in the description down below. Let's get into the video. Let's talk about this new Ford Ranger Raptor. We're going to start with the exterior styling specs, then we'll get into the performance stuff, and then we'll get into the interior with the truck. So first off, from a stylistic perspective, just like the full-size Raptor, it has that like wide body appearance. So the fenders themselves are a little bit wider in the front and the rear. It's got cool venting on the side, and then the fender flares are a lot larger, again, similar to what you have with the F-150 Raptor. It has the Raptor grille, so it's got the giant Ford logo for the front grille, which is also really cool looking. And then it's got some accenting on the hood as well, just like the F-150 Raptor. And then obviously it's got like the massive exposed front skid plates so that it has that aggressive off-roader type look with the tow hooks in it. And it looks like it's got the same rigid fog lights there in the bumper, just like the F-150. The one thing that it is missing though for a Raptor is it doesn't look like it has any marker lights, which, you know, obviously those are federally mandated, and if this truck isn't wide enough to meet the, you know, federal mandate, there's no point in putting marker lights on it. And so, yeah, it doesn't look like it has those whatsoever. So that means that this is going to be the narrowest Raptor. It's going to be, you know, narrower compared to the Bronco and compared to the F-150, because those both have to have marker lights because of the width. And then it's got a Raptor logo there on the back. It doesn't look like they're going to do the like giant Ford logo on the tailgate. You guys know what I'm talking about with like the F-150 Raptor. They just have like a little Ford logo. So I'm wondering if that's just going to be kind of like the standard thing, which makes sense, right, to do with the Ranger. But let's move from that to the cool performance stuff that's coming with this Ranger Raptor. So obviously we already talked about the fact that this is a wide-bodied Ranger, so it has a little bit of a wider track, and that is to fit 33s. They're mounted on 17-inch wheels from the factory, which might not sound like a lot, but again, you got to remember, this is a mid-sized truck. This isn't a massive vehicle, so having 33s from the factory is quite impressive for a mid-sized truck. Most mid-sized trucks use like anywhere from like 29s to like 31s, so pretty cool setup. I wonder if they might do like a 35 option down the road as like an, you know, extreme Raptor package, just like you have the performance package on the F-150. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Now, aside from doing 33s from the factory, this also is going to have live valve shocks from Fox, just like the F-150 Raptor and like the Bronco Raptor. So it's going to have that active suspension that's going to be really good at absorbing bumps and all that fun stuff, and obviously allowing you to jump the truck straight out of the box, which is pretty exciting. And apparently they reworked the whole like suspension system with the truck to make it so this truck has more travel, and it's going to have just more flex and all that kind of stuff compared to a regular Ranger, even like a Ranger Tremor, for example, or the new Wild Track that they are releasing as well. Now, the most exciting news from a performance standpoint is going to be the powertrain. So you're going to be able to get a 3-liter twin-turbo V6 under the hood, 10-speed automatic transmission, and it's actually pretty powerful. It's going to have 392 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. And so it's going to be a very strong powertrain for a Ranger. I mean, this is the powertrain they use in like the Explorer ST, which is a third-row SUV, and it's pretty crazy in that. And so you can imagine in something as small as a Ranger, it's just going to be completely insane. This is going to be the most exciting mid-sized truck ever from a performance standpoint. And basically, they just reworked everything to make this truck literally just a Ranger Raptor. It's like a baby Raptor. And so it basically is taking all the fun stuff that's associated with the full-size Raptor and the Raptor Bronco and just putting it into a smaller package, which is going to have some key benefits. And I guess that we'll get into those a little bit later, but we'll talk about the interior quickly before we get into that. So interior-wise, it's going to have all the normal Raptor stuff. So you're going to have like the marker at the top of the steering wheel, more aggressive seats, and just like the Bronco, they're bringing code orange into the interior quite a bit. So with on the seat bolsters, there's some like piping that's in orange. The seat belts, I don't think those are in orange though. I don't see any orange accenting on the seat belts, which obviously would be cool, but maybe that'll be like an extra option that you can pay for. But heavily bolstered seats, full digital gauge cluster, which will be available on other Ranger models. And then you've got the new big 12-inch infotainment system, which again will also be available on other Rangers. And I don't think I see any paddle shifters. I might be wrong on that. Oh, nope, there are paddle shifters. Never mind. So we're getting paddle shifters just like the Bronco and just like the F-150. So that's a pretty cool setup. Raptor logo on the steering wheel. And you guys can see the picture, kind of like the orange accenting throughout the truck. So we're getting a much more modern interior that's coming with the new Ranger. But obviously the Raptor version being, the fully loaded Ranger is going to come with a lot of this stuff as standard is the best way to look at it. And so yeah, really nice interior with a bunch of cool tech. Sad that they're not using the horizontal screen there. It seems like Ford's going all in on this vertical screen, which I don't know how to feel about that, but you know what? It is what it is. Now, we're going to get into the opinion section here with the Ranger Raptor. And first off, I think that this is amazing that Ford's doing this. I'm all about it because the more cool off-road packages we have from Ford, the better, because it's going to make it so other automakers are going to release this stuff. So, right now in the midsize truck segment, the only other really cool truck we have is the Chevy Colorado ZR2. And the Ranger Raptor literally beats it on every single front because the Ranger Raptor has front and rear lockers just like the ZR2. It has really advanced shocks. It's got really nice tires. And it obviously has, the Raptor name going along with it. It has a much higher performance engine. It's got a better transmission as well compared to the Colorado. And so this just beats out the Colorado ZR2 in every single form. And so it's going to force Chevy to bring things up with the ZR2, and it's going to push other automakers that make mid-sized trucks to do something more, right? We've got the Tacoma, for example, same thing, like doesn't even compare to this. And so it's going to push Toyota to do a little bit more. So maybe the next generation TRD Pro is going to be quite a bit crazier, or maybe they're going to release something above the TRD Pro, which I think is great. And so I guess overall, I think this is great. I think it's going to push the other automakers to do a little bit more with their mid-size trucks so that we get higher performance mid-size trucks. And, just as like an off-road enthusiast, I think this thing's going to be fantastic because, again, you're getting all of the Raptor capability in a smaller package. And so you're going to be able to do a lot more off-roading with this compared to what you'd be able to do with the regular Raptor. When I say a lot more off-roading, just different off-road circumstances, right? There's a lot of trails that like an F-150 Raptor and the new Bronco Raptor just aren't going to be able to fit down because of the just sheer width of those vehicles and then obviously the length as well, especially with the F-150. And so this is going to be able to fit into that stuff. And again, it's got front and rear lockers, and so it's going to be super capable from a crawling perspective. So there's just a lot of adventures to be had with this truck. Now, the only thing that I could see as a potential downside with this truck is with the suspension. I cannot find anything that basically gives an inaccurate reading on what the suspension is going to be. Everything that I've read so far is just talking about the shocks, but nothing says if this truck's going to have leaf springs or not. If it still has leaf springs, I think that's going to be a little bit of a downside because the new F-150 Raptor doesn't and the Bronco Raptor doesn't have leaf springs. And so if this has leaf springs, that will be a negative in my opinion because it won't be as smooth off-road, right? You're going to have that wheel hop in the rear and everything that you get that's all associated with leaf springs. And so I'm really interested to see what kind of suspension it has. So if you guys have been able to figure out what suspension this has, put it down in the comment section down below. But I'm hoping that they do like a coil suspension setup, at least for the Raptor version, because that's going to help out with stability, especially at high speeds. And then when you're crawling, it's going to help out with flex. That you can get so much more flex out of a coil suspension system than you can get out of leaf springs. And it's not like this truck needs to max out on payload because it's the Raptor version, right? People understand it's not going to be as practical. But I want you guys to let me know what you think about the new Ranger Raptor if you're planning on getting one. And yeah, with all that being said, I will see all of you in that next video.